This team making the
Oh,
playoffs.
okay, good. Okay, so yes, when I look at how everything is kind of laid out to them, I've kind of I've really been on this thing, even watching them early, and I think that was the most frustrating part and really the most interesting part. You got everybody congratulating you on the promotion and everything, man. Uh, I've always felt like the 49ers, they like it's like we're not a bad team. We have the guys, but they just had to find ways to get out of their own way. Now,
Mm-hmm.
most people would tell you, them turning the ball over, committing penalties and things like that were leading to losses. It's like, well, that's just the signs of a bad team. Maybe that's who they are, but I didn't quite believe that. And I think what we've seen over the last 2 weeks, again, I'm not trying to just hype those games up, but I do think that if the 49ers can play, and not to say they got to run the ball 86 times in 2 games, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that is. My mama said, "Congratulations on your performance
Thank you,
too."
Mama.
Um, that's extreme, but I do think that we've seen this team and the way that they want to win and how they can't win, and I would assume that yeah, this is a playoff team. We thought it coming into the season. The 49ers were like, oh, Super Bowl caliber type team, like so. Again, I think if they could just continue to play how they've been playing, again, you're not going to be able to run the ball 86 times over 2 weeks, but just run the ball efficiently, not turn the ball over a ton, not commit a ton of penalties. If they can continue to play that brand of football, I think they'll be all right. I think Javi is frozen again. Well, all right. But yeah, I do believe that the 49ers are a playoff team. Uh, and you guys have heard me kind of say that. And obviously, it got a little weird. Okay, we got Javi back. It got a little weird with the 49ers being a playoff team because, it just was like, man, like there's something off, right? There's
Yeah.
something just not quite right. I think we're starting to see them, be back to what they're supposed to be. And if they just limit the turnover, I'd say if I felt like the 49ers were overachieving over the last 2 weeks, then I'd be like, I don't know. But I don't think they're overachieving. I think they
No.
have the players to be able to play that brand of football. You got Deebo Samuel. He's terrific. You got Ayuk. He's coming along. You got George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league. You got Jimmy. You got the best tackle, damn near best football player in the entire league
Yeah.
in Trent Williams, right? Like, I feel like you got a run game with Elijah Mitchell as long as he's on the field. Like, the defense is playing well. I think the pass rush could be better. And I think if you want to say, are we a Super Bowl caliber team? I'd say, that pass rush not really being able to get home
Yeah.
consistently, it scares me a little bit. But just overall, when I look at this roster, there's good players everywhere. And I look at it like, why can't they be? And they should have been playing how they've been playing the last couple weeks. Should have been playing like that the whole time.
Yep.
And it started to get weird. It started to get weird with the penalties and stuff. But I do think they're finally kind of like, all right, I think this is who y'all are. This is who I thought y'all were coming this season. Can we keep it going? I think this game this weekend that this is a big game. This is a playoff game.
Yeah.
For them.
So right now, the New York Times has like a simulator. The Niners are 50% chance to make the playoffs, the wild card, right? If they beat the Vikings, that goes to 65% chance to make the playoffs. And then you got the Seahawks, the Bengals, the Falcons, the Titans, the Texans, and the Rams. The last 7 games, if you go 5-2 down the stretch, you should make the playoffs. Now, what are those 2 losses? Maybe at the Titans because it's a short week. It's in Tennessee. It's probably cold. We don't know how well Jimmy Garoppolo plays in the cold weather. We haven't really seen him play in the cold weather because he's always either indoors in December or in Santa Clara. Those things kind of matter. I mean, the frustration at the beginning of the year, like you should have won. You should have beat the Colts, right? You should have beaten the Arizona. If you win one of those 2 games, this is not even a conversation. Like a lot of the stuff that we were saying at the time is like, what's going on? They should be fine. It's just the Vikings scare me because of their ability to throw. And I know you're higher on our secondary than I am, but can anyone cover Justin Jefferson on this team?
Okay. So when you say I'm higher on the secondary,
you're higher than I am.
I think that we all probably view the secondary the same in the sense of, who is the guy, right? Especially like at the corner.
Mosey's playing good. Mosey's playing really good.
Yeah, he's playing well. But when I look at the 49ers secondary and how they play, they don't play bad. Like, would I like to have somebody other than Josh Norman out there? Sure. Josh Norman definitely had some he has weird moments, right? But when you look at just kind of a majority of the game, I think the secondary, they play well. They're not bad. They haven't been giving up the big plays. And I'm talking about like, especially your starter group, right? Now
Yeah.
we can talk about Hufanga coming in and him having a match with Christian Kirk running up the field. That's not ideal. And typically Hufanga is not going to be in that situation. But when you have him and Tavon Wilson, it's kind of like, all right,
Yeah.
Tavon Wilson, he gave up the big play. But our corners typically don't give up the big play. Our secondary typically doesn't give up the big play. I think they do well. I think they do a good job of limiting explosive plays. So when I look at how, Justin Jefferson has been winning vertically and things like that, maybe he does. Maybe it does happen just because he's that good, but that hasn't been an issue typically for the 49ers, especially when they have this group out there that they have now. So I think that's what makes me a little bit encouraged by the secondary. I think they're fine. I don't think they're the issue. The issue, how people think about the secondary, they need to flip that and talk about their pass rush and the run stopping defense. We see it right here. Dude, 27th ranked defense in the NFL.
I think
They're not getting the job done. The pass rush, they're not getting the job done. The secondary with no pass rush and not being able to run the ball, stop the run well, the secondary is actually playing well. Even having to go through those hurdles. So those are things, when I look at the secondary, I'm just like, I think it's not sexy, but I think they're fine.
I think Victor's comment is about the Vikings. They're 27th ranked defense.
Oh, well, I thought the 49ers run defense hasn't
I
been
did
great
the DVOA
either.
numbers yesterday. So the DVOA for the 49ers now, this is just one, one stat. The 49ers so far this season, they're 7th total DVOA as a team. Offense is 4th, passing offense is 5th, rushing offense is 8th. The 49ers defense is ranked 11th. Passing defense is 22nd. Rushing defense is 3rd, according to Football Outsiders, on how they do their ranking with DVOA. So now part of me thinks that they were 20th last week because it calculates every week. And they were 20th last week. I think they dropped 2 spots because Ambry Thomas gave up a whole bunch of garbage yards, but that is where they are.
Yeah.
But
so kind of a little bit more middle of the pack with the
defensively they're a top 11 unit, a top 12 unit, excuse me. I expected them to be a top 10 unit. They might get there, but I think part of it is, you said it, Josh Norman gives you a lot of weird moments, and those weird moments sometimes can cost you. Hopefully they don't cost you this week against the Vikings, because I don't, people wanted to argue this point. I just don't think the Niners are built to come from behind, right? Like, I don't think they're essentially like, hey, cool, we get down 14, we're just going to come roaring back. Like, they rather play what they've played the last 2 weeks. Get the ball first, go down the field in 13 minutes for 20 plays, get a field goal and 7 points, control the clock all the way through. I just don't understand. I don't think they're prepared to get into a shootout this year as they were.
I'd say my only pushback on that, Javi, would be we actually saw them fall behind 17-0 to the Packers. And now they lost, but I'm saying, like, in the sense of what they are capable of doing.
Yeah.
And the Vikings, and we talked to our guy Luke Brown last night on Locked On 49ers. If you haven't already, Locked On 49ers episodes out right now. I actually just retweeted, so go listen to that after you watch this show, of course. But myself, Brian Peacock, Locked On 5 days a week.
BD Peacock.
Luke, yeah, BD Peacock. Luke Brown touched on the fact that the Vikings jump out to leads and then they let teams come back. Now, obviously, ideally, the 49ers don't want to fall behind, but if you do want to say, well, can they play from behind? That's my thing. Like, just can you do it? Are you just down and out? They were down 17-0 to the Packers, and they were leading with 37 seconds left, and just had a brain fart on defense with the rookie quarterback, Deommodore Lenoir, cornerback. So I look at it like, yeah, obviously you don't want to fall behind. But I don't think this is a team that just can't. But we do know that that's not what they feel their recipe is for them to be victorious in the game.